Hello, friends. Welcome back to Learn With Me Calligraphy. I'm your host, Christopher, and today we are starting on episode 6. Kind of astonishes me that we've even gotten this far, but it's kind of the topic for the day, because all we have left, at least in our lowercase letters, is Y and Z. That's it. And then we're done. We'll end up moving on to uppercase. But it almost feels like a milestone to be able to get as far as we have. So I'm going to follow through with these two, and then we're going to kind of show how far we've gotten down here by writing out our letters and by maybe writing out a sentence. So go back up here to the Y, and again, just like we've practiced, rough on the downstroke, easy on the upstroke, and right around. Okay, we'll do that one more time here. And I'm doing this all in one motion. It looks like that's what it was designed for. But if you want, you could test it out, see what it looks like if you do it multiple ways. Or if we create multiple strokes here. So I'm going to do it in 3 instead of 1. I think it's more angular and a little bit more defined. Like, to me, this looks closer to a Y. If you zoom out on this guy and just focus on it, that almost looks like a number 2 to me. So, again, we have our basic template, but whatever you think looks best to you or works best with your style, find your template and then reorganize it to work best for the way you like to do it. So we're going to go down, up, and down. And if you are doing multiple strokes, remember to pick up your pen. We're not going for one stroke, holding it, and then going for another stroke, holding it, and then going for a third stroke. You start to get these blotches for 1, and 2, you don't have as much control of where you want it to go. This looks very blocky in comparison. So keep an eye on how you're placing down your strokes and realize that, oh, it is a quick throw and a pickup. We're not exactly trying to hold it there when we do a single stroke. So let's do this all in one stroke for the Z. Oh, I picked it up, so let's do it in 2. Right. Now we'll do it back as 1. As 1, for my particular hand, it looks like it holds the ink there a little bit longer and creates a larger divot here, versus if I'd picked it up and just quickly went again. It's more defined here. So let's try it again one more time. Yeah, with the single stroke, it's a lot thicker. So let's go back to doing it as a 2-stroke. Much thinner. I think I prefer that look. Probably want to get this down a little bit more. So we're going to go here, pick it up, go out more instead of up, and bring it around. Looks like we could bring it up just a little bit more here. So let's do that. Pick it up and go through. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that is all of our lowercase. Congratulations. You've gotten here. What an accomplishment. So, now that we've gone through all of them, let's do a quick roundabout with them. We'll just go quickly from A to Z and see if we can create a sentence here. So with our A, we were doing it in 2, just making our one quick turn, and our second stroke. And I also have our worksheets back here to reference, because I'm like, I know I'm not going to remember all the ways that it was done in the book. So let's go back here. We'll take a look at our previous work here. So we got our A. Again, I do mine definitely different than what the book suggests, but I prefer it this way. Needs a little bit more work, but I like it more. So let's try that B. Go. Okay. Stops, and then... yeah. We'll need to make it a little bit bigger, so let's try that one more time. Too big, too big. Again, showing that still need practice and you never stop learning. And our C, and then that D. Angled up, pick up the pen. There we go. Not as angled as in the book, but I mean, that's kind of just my own particular style. I'll try it one more time here. Up and angle. Yeah, it kind of looks lopsided the way I do it. Again, once you start to get into your own style, it's amazing how quickly you just devolve from the rest of this. But again, practice, practice, practice. And you will get to where exactly you want to be. Like that E needs to go exactly downward. There we go. And our F. And then our G. And an H. There we are. Now let's see. What do I have for I? Ah, yes. Are basically one line and a dot. And did you figure out what kind of dot you like for your eye? Remember that? Maybe we'll try a different one just for fun. Let's go... zigzag pattern made it a little too big. We'll try it one more time here. Maybe if I use different nib on that. Kinda. Come on, there you go. Just make it look like it's exploding. Then we'll do our J. And K. And remember with our K, we're flinging it out and bringing it up. We're not trying to bring it back to the base. And then following it through. We'll do our L here. And an M. The M and the N, they're always such a funny looking little letter. Okay, let's try the N. Do a pickup, and then that's a bit better. Now, I personally started doing this more often with my O, where I curl it back in, versus where I continue it. Oop. Bring it up here. Versus where I continue it through. This makes way more sense for a lowercase. But just as practice, I've been playing around with doing something like this. We'll do our P here. And then move on. So many worksheets. Q, aha. There we go. Very simple to our A and our G. And our Q, let's do a little bit thicker. There we go. And remember, this was a little bit faster too. This was slower. See how it's just more controlled, better definition. Focus upon getting the letters right, not necessarily in the quickest way possible. Again, we're learning to we're practicing to learn. We're not practicing just so we can have something to show off. Let's see. R. S. Our still very odd looking T. Our U, our V. V by far, I think, was the easiest to learn. It is so simple with the way that we've been constructing this with our heavy downstroke and our light upstroke. It just follows through very naturally. Now onto our W. X. Oof. Excuse me. And again, in particular with me, I always like to really go back and forth over that line just to make it a little bit thicker to fit in overall with the composition of the X. And we'll head back to our Y here. Get that back into frame. And we'll go. And finally, our Z. And look at that. We can now do all the letters of the alphabet. I mean, with some exception. But hey, we're getting there. It's actual progress. And if you ever need a refresher on where you're at versus where you've come from, always look back to that first episode, that first time that you pulled out the paper and just wrote a sentence. It might not have even been in cursive or calligraphy, just regular basic text, and go, wow, look at where I am now. This is awesome. It may not be to where I want to be, but I've come so far. And that's kind of the goal with Learn With Me. You want to be able to go through all the steps naturally and then be able to look back and go, look at how much I've accomplished. All right, so done that. And I think just down here in the bottom, I'm going to write just a couple words. And we'll see how they look here. What do we want to play with? Let's try, just because it popped into my head, a kilt. It is so odd how things connect. I don't know if I necessarily want to connect everything. Let's just try individually here. There are no wrong answers. Just lessons to be learned here. Interesting. Yeah, we'll definitely have to find a way to make the composition much better. Let's try one more word that we can combine relatively well here. Well, since I was failing on our B here, let's try a B word. Oh, and talking about combining that O, let's try boy. Let's go with that. That. And we're going to go up. And let's see. Again, if you're not sure on something, don't leave it hanging like I just did, but pick up. And then later, you can draw from there and figure out where you're going to go next. So with the way an O is constructed, we start from here and go around. Let's do that. So with the B, we'll finish it. We'll pick it up our stroke, essentially. And then we'll come back around. We'll do that, pick up. And we'll look at our Y and the way that's constructed. And we'll pull down. And we'll twist. Interesting. So our O seems a little bit big and our Y seems a little small. Let's try this again. Do it over, down. Again, if you're not getting what you want, it's okay. We haven't really been combining anything. This is just practice and essentially celebrating, hey, we've gotten this far. This is awesome. So if you're not liking what you're coming up with, that's fine. Practice, 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 and you'll get it. O, and then our Y. Okay. That O needs work. But we're finally starting to work with all of our lowercase letters and being able to use them practically. Well, I think that about does it for us this week. So thanks for tuning in. Next week we're going to start on our uppercase, and I think I may just do that all in one shot. So look for a very long episode, but I want to be able to move on from most of this to be able to actually start writing words and getting things put together this way. So look for that next week. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time. God bless.